And we are live tonight on the Will ND channel. We will be reacting to the Virginia Syracuse game. This game looks like it's gonna be going down to the wire here. This would be a huge win for Tony Elliott and his Hoos as they are taking on the Orange of Syracuse. Dino Babers trying to go 3-0, and it's looking like a great game. So, of course, the Cuse are up by 6, although the Orange have been driving. So it looks like it's going to go down to the wire here in the dome. Now right now it's the RCA dome. I still think of it as the Carrier Dome, of course. All those great games that they've had. So UVA has the ball right now. I think it's at their own 35. So decent field position here to try to take the lead on the Orange. As the band's playing. They're playing their songs, trying to cheer on their Orange. Take a look here. No one's in. As we got the hot girl, they're showing the hot girls now, and then a guy with the overalls. It's wacky. It's wacky up there in upstate New York. As Armstrong throws a laser to Wicks, but he can't hold on to it. This is going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Orange. As Brendan Armstrong chatting with his boys. As he's in shotgun, 2nd and 10. And he puts a little dish out there to Jones. As Jones gets pretty good yards, it's going to be 3rd and short for the Hoos. As it's going to be 3rd down and 2. As they're lining up here. Just so excited for this great week of great Saturday of college football. There's going to be some great games. It'll be interesting to see how Michigan looks against real competition as they take on Maryland. I mean, it looks like JJ and company should be able to take care of business. Ooh, as they cannot connect with the receiver, Jones. This is going to be 4th and 2 for UVA, and will they go for it? They will not. So UVA cannot take advantage of the pretty good field position they had as they go 3 and out. So good stop there by Dino Babers in the Orange. As Brendan Armstrong looks a little sad on the sideline. As they're going to be punting away here. As the punter bombs away. And it's fair caught at the 15. Maybe could have got something there, but nah, I probably would have just gotten popped. As Garrett Schrader and co. are about to come back after this commercial break. As we got a new God of War game coming out, new God of War trailer. Never played the first remake, but it looks good. Really nice graphics. I haven't gotten a PS5 yet. It's a little sad. God of War Ragnarok, using the Thor name. As we got another Dr. Pepper Fansville commercial. Clemson and Wake could be. I hope that game's close, but I don't know. I just don't have enough faith in Dave Clawson's defense. I do have faith in their offense, though. Let's take a look. More of the games. We're going to go to FBS. Boise and UTEP tied at 3. That could be an interesting game. Although I bet on UTEP to win once and they didn't pull through. course, we got my Irish in North Carolina and a must-win situation for our team. Offense has got to get something going. I'm sure the defense will get enough stops to give the offense a chance, but I'll be shocked if they run Shaw on our offense, our defense. Maryland, Michigan. I think Michigan will probably just run through Maryland. I mean, maybe Maryland can score with them for a quarter or two, but yeah. Easy win for Penn State. Clemson, this is Wake. It'll be interesting to see how much A.T. Perry and Wake quarterback. I should know his name. What's his name? Sam Hartman can put up. See, maybe they can go out to an early lead in Winston-Salem, but honestly, I think that Clemson is too good. I think that Will Shipley will run roughshod. Hopefully, Chris Tyree runs roughshod over Carolina. Baylor and Iowa State. This one could go either way, honestly. Baylor didn't look. I mean, I guess they looked good against BYU, so maybe it should just be But Iowa State's favored. Tony, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. I was looking at the games and also following the games this Saturday. Also following the other games too.
We have some excitement.
Oh yeah.
On Tuesday of next week, we are going to have the USC team of the Voice College Football's USC Post Game Live and the Pac-12 team. We'll be interviewing a special CEO perspective interview with the Chancellor of Washington State.
All right. Oh, big shot. Oh, incomplete.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the football game.
Sorry, yeah, but
she's also awesome. She's also a big shot. Yeah.
Is she the really one? Cool. She's the one that said jump up, and sit down.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
She's really cool.
Yeah, that's
actually
awesome.
A brilliant professor of anthropology, focused on Native American studies and done a lot of really cool stuff. She was just in Washington D.C. this week, working with legislators, and they did a thing, a taste of Washington with because Washington State's a famous ag school, phenomenal ag school. So they did all these products and stuff from Washington and food and a whole big tasting thing for congressmen and senators.
All right.
So
that's so great.
She's gonna be. How cool is that?
That is awesome.
We got the Chancellor.
The Chancellor. All right.
We're gonna have to get what's his name from Notre Dame for that week.
Jack Swarbrick.
No, the president.
Oh, what's his name?
Father. I'm blanking his name. Okay, well, I don't remember his name, so he's not. He's definitely gonna tell me no. We'll beg
nice
Jack
shuffle
Swarbrick.
Pass.
Actually, Jack Swarbrick would be fascinating. We should ask him.
Yeah.
He might do it.
Fumble it? Was it a fumble?
I don't know. I didn't see. I was looking at your screen. My TV's on the side.
This has been a good game, though.
This has been a really good game.
Yeah. Oh!
I just saw the fumble. Okay, you're definitely ahead of me. Yeah, this has been a really good game. It's the Dome. Crazy stuff happens in the Dome.
Yeah. I think they're going to take a look at it. I have it on mute. Yeah. Am I echoing? Was he down? All right. I don't know what's wrong with my echo.
You have another window open, or you have your echoing turned off, maybe on StreamYard. You have a YouTube window open.
I see. I don't think I can hear myself. Okay, I think we're good. I had my phone turned off, but I had the window open on it, so. Dun, dun, dun. I'm really excited for the Beavers and the Trojans, though.
That's gonna be a heck of a game.
I hope it's a one possession game at least, but
I hope it's not at all. I hope it's an
yeah, I
obliteration.
understand.
But
Yeah,
I'm expecting it to be a good game.
yeah.
What I hope for and what I expect for are two very different things in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I bet you hope our Tar Heels game is a one possession game though. I don't know.
So based on they might have a defense bad enough for you guys to be fine.
I hope our defense is good enough to make their defense not look fine. Their offense not look fine.
Yeah, but I mean their defense is bad.
Yeah.
Like I think Drew Pine will be fine with their defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, you're not going to blow them out of the water probably, but I don't think you'll win. It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
That would be my bet. Although, who knows with this season already, which I love. I love the crazy seasons.
Yeah. Last year was pretty crazy too. But this season looks just as crazy. Anyone else here? I'm so happy that Brandon's team won. I believed. I thought they were like. Well, I believe based on what the people were saying in the chat forum that I was looking at, but they did it.
We get a half hour with the Chancellor too.
All right, half hour.
Yeah, we got 2 hours with the Stanford Tree, but he has more time.
Yeah.
And by the way, the new Stanford, actually, he might not. He's CEO of a video game company too, but he was fun. The new Stanford Tree is being revealed. His tree is being revealed this week, I think, in Washington. Which is
I'm so excited to see it.
I know. I want to see it. I hope he goes on the trip. He told me he's going to scratch dubs for me. So, we got two great mascots right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really pay any attention to Harry the Husky. No offense, Harry, if you're listening.
Oh, Harry. Father John Jenkins. That was his name. Thank you, Uncle
Jenkins,
Andy.
Father Jenkins. That's right.
Thank you, Uncle Andy. Uncle
Father
Andy
John
in the chat
Jenkins.
coming through.
Host of the super spreader event at the White House.
Yeah. Ooh, fake handoff.
Oh, I'm going to see it in just a minute. What was?
Oh!
They're still showing the fumble replays on mine.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it.
No, you can spoil it.
It was an interception. They gave it right back.
Remember, I used to work for the CIA. I don't view it as spoilers. I view it as intelligence.
Yeah. Did you ever work with General Petraeus?
Oh, no. He came after I left. He was in Afghanistan when I was there.
He's like kind of our neighbor.
He's an awesome guy. Like, he's really cool.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him. In fact, people were very sad when he had the scandal issues because people loved him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a really, really cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he lives by you guys? That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm back home for the night.
Oh, are you? I wasn't even looking at your. I guess I should look. I can't tell anyway because I think you're at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, that's why you don't have the good mic sound.
No, I have it. Is it not?
Oh, did you bring it? Oh, you brought it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just couldn't see it.
Jeff in the house. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, I'm sorry. I had a phone call I had to answer.
Hey, Jeff, good news. Guess who we've got for our pack show this week?
Who's that?
The Chancellor of Washington State.
Awesome.
How cool is that? She's going to talk to us about, as the CEO, like what it's like to run the athletic department, like what matters to the CEOs.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really fun.
I'm still looking for a guy to do the show with me, the SEC, because I want to do an SEC show like you guys do the Pac-12. Remember, Tony?
That would be really cool.
I got two people who will come on and do guests for like 15 minutes. Do you remember George Teague?
I've heard the name.
The football player. He was great.
George Teague in the 1992
national champions, right?
Bowl, Gino Torretta threw a bomb to Harris, and he was gone and going to score, and Teague was the guy who ran him down and stole the ball. He didn't
I-
tackle him. He just stole the ball.
That's what it was. He literally just like took his own hand off, like on his own from Toretta, from the Heisman winner.
Yeah. Yeah, that
That's
guy was
right.
gone too. I mean, it was a touchdown. He just took the ball right away from him, and
That was an amazing play.
but
I remember that.
He said he would come on and do a show with me for 15 minutes. And another guy is Trent Richardson, who was an Alabama running back about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say something. Did you ask the guys that do the that do the Florida and Arkansas guests on Mark? I like those two guys are good.
No, but I will. I was going to look on Mark's shows to see who does the other. I'll be honest with you. I don't like some of Mark's shows. I don't like the SEC prediction guy. I mean, he's kind of bland.
SG1.
He's just kind of bland. I mean, he's not a bad guy. And I mean, he's trying, and he's, I don't want to say nothing bad about him, but he's just a little bland.
I think the Arkansas and the Florida guys are pretty good.
And that would be perfect because I don't want another Bama guy. I mean,
I understand. Yeah.
I need other takes, and, I mean, don't get me wrong. Tony, Tim, and Rick do a great job because Tony, Tim, and Rick know the conference, So if I'm going to get Bama guys, then I'm going to have to get guys like Tony and Tim and Rick that aren't just Bama guys, but we can talk about LSU. We can talk about Florida. I mean, I can talk about the other schools, but I don't want another Bama guy who just knows Bama.
Yeah.
We're locked in with the Chancellor.
That is
I'm
awesome.
excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fascinating.
Because that's one side of the story nobody ever gets to hear.
Nobody gets to hear. The one thing I told him is I said, we're not going to talk about realignment because I know she can't say anything of interest.
Right. Yeah.
So I told her, I said, one of the things I said is I said, we just, that's not a topic that we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because, but like what they, what matters to her in terms of like I'm fascinated to hear and of course she has Pat Chun, who's an amazing AD. He's a protege of Gene Smith from Ohio State. But I'm fascinated to hear sort of what decisions does she get involved with?
Mm-hmm.
And she's just taken over as chancellor. And so on July 1st, she took over. They created the new role of chancellor, and she was the provost, and she became the chancellor in a new role. And then the president sort of shifted up above the whole system. So it's new, which I think is what's really interesting as well. So what's different than what she expected and all that. And other than going to Madison and telling them jump up and sit down.
Sit down.
And one thing I'd be interesting to hear, and I mean, I know they can't get into everything, but, like contract renegotiate, TV contract, what are, besides the dollar amount, but what is important in their mind as far as, games played, how many times can you get on, what is important to them in the TV negotiations?
Yeah. And what are you willing to trade off?
Right. What are you willing to give up? What is your idea of a fair price per team? I mean, as far as how many times do you think you should be on ESPN or, the tiers and stuff like that, but just to, get their insights on what they're looking at from their perspective. Because I mean, as us, all we care about is our team. We care about them being, well, except for Will, but we care about them being in a good conference. And just like Notre Dame, we care about being in the playoffs. We got to have a path to the playoff. We got to make it fair, and it's fun for us as fans to say, let's move Oregon to the SEC for this month, and let's move, and move all the. But logistically and culturally fit, that don't work. I mean. And hey, Will, you see that picture?
Oh, what year is that? 1986.
Yeah, that's Cornelius Bennett killing your quarterback.
Poor Steve Berline. God bless his heart.
Yeah, it's called that picture is called the sack.
Yeah. Well, we got you guys back the next year. You
guys got us back many years.
Yeah.
We had to get one off you.
You gotta get one. You gotta get one.
Yeah, we gotta get one. Bear Bryant wasn't very good when it came to playing Notre Dame.
Yeah.
0-3, 0-4.
0-3. Yeah.
0-3. Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
tough
like
run.
we couldn't beat John McKay. John McKay couldn't beat Bear Bryant, and then we couldn't beat John McKay. And then McKay couldn't beat Bear Bryant. Yeah.
Oh, how did I become that?
Well, and then you got Alabama. We're 0-3 against Rice. You know, I mean, there's just some teams out there just got your number. You know.
Mm-hmm. We couldn't beat. We're 0-2 against Oregon State.
It's kind of funny, you know. You got big records against certain teams that are powerhouse.
When did you lose to Oregon State?
2000 and 2002.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, you lost big to Oregon State that one year.
Yeah.
Now, in my video today, I don't know if you watched it, Will. I put
Was
Notre
it the
Dame
New Year's Six Bowl video?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I threw Notre Dame in with the ACC since you guys, you know, kind of play us. But I wanted to get Notre Dame in there, you know, being independent. And I didn't want to start an independent and have to rank all of them, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, during the COVID year, I kind of didn't want to be in the playoffs. There was a part of me that didn't want to be in. Because I knew we were going to get stomped by Alabama.
The COVID year, I hated that year because, I mean, the Big Ten dropped the ball right off the bat. Oh, we're not going to play. And then the Pac-12.
So did the Pac-12.
If they're not going to play, we're not going to play.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the SEC kind of went out in front and said, to hell with it. Nobody wants to play. We're going to play a 10-game conference schedule. And then the ACC quickly got with Notre Dame and said, hey, come with us for 1 year and play in our conference, you know, because of COVID. But I think it was kind of unfair because everybody had different rules. Everybody had, you know, different amounts of practices, different games. All the conferences had different protocols as far as if a guy had COVID, how many days he had to set, you know. So, I mean, it was a messed up year. It really was. And I hate it because I think Alabama was so dominant that year. We didn't need the COVID advantage that some people say we had.
Yeah.
And plus, it was sad watching those games sometimes with nobody in the, you know, nobody in the stadiums. And I know how Chris watches games now with UCLA with no
UCLA. You know how he feels.
Harsh.
Harsh,
but true.
I was gonna say the Tide. Are you guys Game of Thrones fans? The Tide guy speaks harshly, but he speaks truly.
You know what's sad about the UCLA? I got to thinking about this the other night. I went to school. I lived in a small town in Iowa for a while. It was called Madrid, and there's like 2,000 people. Okay, that's population. And the year after I graduated, we got a coach. And this guy got us in the playoffs every year for we went to all but one playoff 17 years in a row. And on a Friday night, we would get 5,000 to 7,000 people at the game.
Mm-hmm.
And here we were, a town of only 2,000, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking, now, if we can get 7,000 to a lonely high school, you know, I mean, we were only a 1A school, you know, so we were a little school. If we can get 7,000, how can UCLA only get 9,000 to a college game, you know?
It was bad.
Unbelievable.
And so I've had some conversations with people on this because I understand all of the arguments about Chip Kelly, the program has been so down. We just finally had a winning season last year for the first time since 2015. Blah 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 blah. And I also very much understand, and Alabama folks, we know you guys are superior in this, but most of the country, a lot of these stadiums are only hold 45,000, 49,000 people. Like this Kansas game, awesome for Kansas, is a sellout. That's so cool. But it's only 47,000 people in the stadium. UCLA has a 95,000 seat stadium. So if they're half full and we make fun of them for being half full, that's more people than Central Florida, Texas Tech, Kansas, Oklahoma State. Even the new Baylor Stadium is beautiful, but it's only 49, 50,000 or something. Gorgeous, like stunning. And so like when you get people and especially I see it a lot from Iowa State and from Central Florida, where their stadium's only like 40,000. They're like, well, we sell it out every game. Well, yeah, so would these other places. When did USC not have 40,000 people in the stands? 1922?
Right, but see, here's my problem that I can't get over.
But real quick, what does it say about one thing though is like UCLA's attendance this year though is so bad that I think it transcends excuses.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we're Alabama, but let's go back to the Mike Shula era, okay? And I mean that was as bad as it gets. We were getting 25 to 30,000 people to our A game, our practice game in the spring. So I mean, if we can be at our worst and get 30,000 people to a spring game,
they can get 30,000 people to an undefeated team coming off an 8-4 season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I and because that's what I said. We were talking about this to somebody today on Twitter. It's like I forgive the Heat game because you know what, old people shouldn't have been out in that. Yeah. And the Rose Bowl is a giant like heat ray convex death cauldron of heat gamma ray whatever onto itself, just the shape and all that. But now they've passed that. Now they've passed the excuse time, and there's still and there were no students. Well, now the students are there. Students moved in last weekend. Where were the students? There were like 300 of them there.
But the thing that is a real travesty to me is history was made 2 weeks ago when a HBC college went to the Rose Bowl and there wasn't more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My thing is, if you wasn't going to get the people, why not go to part of the community and say, look, this is the first time it's happening. Here's $5 tickets. Here's $10 tickets.
Oh, no, they actually tried.
Did they? Okay.
And they even had like shirt. They actually had really cool shirts. Like I give UCLA so much props for some of the stuff they tried to do with bringing in the HBCU. They had like special shirts made. Like it's like UCLA shirts for like the Black community about like the importance of this game. And on the Pac-12 network, the Alabama, the Marching Hornets I don't think UCLA was on. I don't think their band was shown on the Pac-12 network, but you bet the Marching Hornets were on the Pac-12 network, like doing their halftime routine. Like there was a lot of really cool, awesome recognition of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that kind of it's historic. You got to play it up and get the people. I mean. And yeah, they didn't really stand a chance, but you know what? It's awesome that they were there, and it might not be the best team UCLA is going to play all year, but it's the best band, the best marching into the stadium you're going to see. I mean, those HBC bands and they're, the way they enter stadiums is just pure entertainment.
I'm not trying to be mean to UCLA at all. But why don't they take a break from being in the Rose Bowl? Like, why don't they play at like the LA Galaxy or the LAFC stadium for a game?
So they used to play at the Coliseum. And they moved to the Rose Bowl in 1982. And they talk about how it is very much like their like home. And the thing about the Coliseum is, I think, the closest stadium to their school. And then SoFi is probably the second. Then the Coliseum, and then the new soccer stadium, it's right next to the Coliseum, would be second. Then I think SoFi. Then the Galaxy Stadium is just as far from them as the Rose Bowl, if not further, probably further. So the thing is like It's their place, and the Rose Bowl has been renovated for them. Like, and the Rose Bowl has a giant wall of skyboxes and luxury areas and club seat and all that. That's very custom for them. And it's just sort of like their little spiritual home now.
I know. I was just saying that because like I'm Oregon State. They played at
The soccer stadium.
Yeah, so I was thinking like maybe they could play at a soccer stadium. But
Well, and I think that it's not a bad idea, but the problem is that the soccer stadium that would be good for them is right next to the Coliseum.
yeah,
like right next. I don't know if you've seen it. Well, it's really nice. New Bank of California Stadium.
Yeah,
but it's right now. It's and their whole thing for 60 years or whatever was they hated the fact that they were tailgating in USC's parking lots.
Well, and the other thing, does UCLA want to spend the money to pay for another field to play on?
Yeah, well, they're already renting the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that would be the problem.
Because the Rose Bowl though has the worst traffic. Because the thing is, it's in a valley. To anybody who's watching who hasn't been there, it's in the middle of a golf course in a valley of the Arroyo, surrounded by giant mountains with huge mansions. So like there's only these little 2-lane roads in and out because the stadium was only used like once a year for the first 60 years they built it.
Yeah, it was only meant to have the Rose Bowl. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be used.
Rose Bowl's a special events, the flea market, stuff like that. It wasn't meant to be like the home of a football team. So
and look how it was built. Like you said, it's built all wrong. I mean, it's hot in there. It was built to be played in January. It wasn't built for September.
It wasn't built for September games.
No.
It wasn't, and it wasn't built with parking. I mean, you have to park on the golf course.
Yep.
Which is fun. Which I mean, USC has no parking, so we can't. The Coliseum really can't criticize in that. But it's a whole interesting thing. Yeah, and again, and that also affects a lot of their like revenue stuff too. Oh,
I didn't know that Doc Walker was a USC player. That was a good call there, Uncle Andy.
What?
I know that famous commander Doc Walker went to UCLA. I didn't know he was a UCLA.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. They have so many famous players.
Oh, 4th and goal here for UVA. Let's see if they can punch it in here.
You are a solid few minutes ahead of me. Is mine live?
But here's the problem with UVA.
Yeah.
Let's say they score, right? And they tie it up 19-19. You've missed 2 field goals and you had an extra point block. Do you go for 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call.
I mean, the field goal team is not working for you right now. You almost have to go for 2.
Did they go for it on 4th down? Did they get it?
Yeah, they're going for it.
Okay. Let me know what happens. I'm excited.
This would be a real upset if Virginia pulls this out.
All right. Well, they got their touchdown.
They got their touchdown? Oh.
Here we go.
You got to go for 2.
Yeah. To Lavelle Davis.
Your last extra point got blocked, and you've had 2 field goals blocked. You can't count on them.
But as we saw from the Purdue game, Syracuse could score like 4 or 5 more touchdowns before this is over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Syracuse has. Oh, here they're going for the extra point.
Are they?
Here we go.
Fake it.
No, they made it. They're up. They're up 2019. They look like they're really happy for the kicker, which is nice.
Well, they should be.
Freshman kicker, isn't he? Yeah. I thought they said that the kicker was a freshman, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's Purdue.
Did he shank them, or were they were blocked earlier, right?
The one was both of them were to the right. The field goals were to the right, and the extra point was blocked.
Okay.
But Syracuse is not a good place to play. I mean, that's Purdue. They went in there and struggled,
That dome is haunted.
Yeah.
It's haunted with the ghosts of teams that have lost games they should have won.
But you would have to think if Virginia wins this game, that's a major upset. No, I don't think anybody predicted.
Yeah.
as bad as they played against Old Dominion, that they would come in here and be competitive.
Well, I guess it's taking time for Tony Elliott to implement his offense, and it's starting to show. Good.
But this is the reason why you give coaches some time. You know,
Yeah.
you don't put them on the hot seat right away. I mean,
All right, touchback. Well, Syracuse also has they've settled for way too many field goals. Like they've gotten into the red zone and just kicked field goals.
yeah.
Yeah, kicking field goals isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, they've had 1, 2, 3, 4 field goals and 1 touchdown. But they have some time here. Handoff, not much.
They keep replaying that fumble.
Yeah.
This is quite a good game.
Yeah. I saw Tim in the GBD chat. What's he up to?
I haven't talked to him. I have to tell him the good news about the Chancellor.
Yeah. All right, first down. Nice pass.
Should that be a Pac-12 show or a USC show? What do you guys think?
Pac-12.
Pac-12. Okay.
Although, are they playing USC this week? Next week?
Yeah, it's the week of the USC game. Next week.
I would maybe ask Tim and Rick to see.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
I just got news. My wife's grandma, they're going to do surgery. They're doing emergency surgery.
Is that good news?
I don't think so. It's gallbladder.
I'm sorry.
But with the other stuff that's going on,
yeah,
I don't think
that's what I was worried about. I was like, is that good? Well, because my first thought is that might be good news because it means they think she can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she can handle it, but with everything else and being 98 years old, that I mean, I've been unfortunate in my life. Believe it or not, I've had, what is it now, 18 surgeries. That's why I don't go to doctors. Every time I go to the doctor, they want to cut.
Oh no. Well, I had the thing that Sam Hartman had.
Oh wow.
But I had it worse than he did, actually. So when I heard about that, I was like, oh, I know what that is.
All right, big sack for UVA. Oh, there's a flag. There's a flag.
What?
Well, UVA got a sack, but there's a flag. Is it holding on Syracuse, or is it?
I'm thinking it's holding on the guard, isn't it? Was it the guard?
Face mask. Ooh.
Oh,
face mask on Virginia. That's a dumb penalty right there.
So you give them first down. They're inside the 50 now.
Yeah, that's not what you want. Not this Syracuse team.
And I was a little fortunate, Tony. I brought home a little shrapnel from Iraq. I still got a piece of Iraq in my neck.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
The doctor said if I got to have one more neck surgery, they got to go in through the back. And if they're going in through the back, then they'll take it out at that time. But they said...
Ooh, nice catch.
All right, well, which team are you going for?
Well, the thing is, everyone that doesn't... So I'm from Virginia. I'm from Northern Virginia. And everyone that doesn't get into Virginia generally doesn't root for Virginia.
Right.
So generally, because they're like the preppy school... But I'm pretty neutral. I don't care that much one way or the other.
Okay, so because you're from Virginia, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If conference realignment opens up again and the ACC gets picked apart, who would you like to see Virginia go to? Would you rather
Virginia,
the
to
Big
me,
Ten or
really
the
fits with the
SEC?
Big Ten. They fit with the Big Ten, I feel like.
They do.
Culturally, I agree 100%. They got a lot more in common with the Big Ten.
And Maryland and everybody else. Yeah, I think Virginia belongs with the Big Ten and Virginia Tech belongs with the ACC. Or the SEC, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's a SEC type of school, where
Yeah.
Well, and I've become more and more convinced, and I don't know that the numbers work out. So I'm talking culture and fans, not TV data metrics and all, but like the numbers have to be
the
close.
culture, how the culture fit.
Culture. I think Virginia Tech and I think West Virginia also.
Oh, I think, and I don't know if you've heard this, but I've heard this numerous times.
That it was between them and and Mizzou.
That actually West Virginia was coming, and then ESPN said no. You guys have to take Missouri because of the market. Kansas
is really good. Yeah, well, because remember they have Kansas City and St. Louis.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me from the TV market standpoint. But I think West Virginia is. I mean, those are great fans. They're great tradition, great stadium. I mean, and you think about Enter Sandman and Country Roads that we had last night. Like, I mean, these are great, neat traditions of great fan bases.
Yeah.
And when you're like in Charlottesville, to me, Charlottesville really doesn't feel like a southern town.
No.
I mean, Richmond's much more like I go to college in Richmond at VCU, and it is way more southern than Charlottesville. So
yeah, Charlottesville is, other than Mr. Jefferson, it's kind of its own little like a colonial Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, personally, I kind of thought Missouri was a better fit for the Big Ten than the SEC.
Missouri is very Big Ten-ish.
I mean, West Virginia is much more an SEC type of school.
No, I think you're right.
And I mean, I'm not trying to say that the Big Ten don't have football and don't have, but it's just different style of football and different
style of fans and culture. And I mean, and all of it good. That's the thing is, right. You're not talking about somebody's good and somebody's bad. Everybody's good. There's just different kinds.
Right. And people don't agree with me, but personally, I think the U, believe it or not, would be better in the Big Ten than in the SEC.
Very much so. Because it's a snooty private school.
Yeah.
It belongs with USC and Northwestern and Stanford and those folks.
Now I think like football only wise, they are a good fit with the SEC. But when you take everything in else, to me, the Big Ten needs Miami more than the SEC because the Big Ten has no Florida school right now.
No.
Yeah.
And besides Texas, I mean, because now USC and UCLA, so the Big Ten will have the California, but they don't have Texas and they don't have Florida, and those are two big recruiting areas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other thing that's really kind of funny is as I'm trying to think how did a friend describe this really well. He said something like Texas is a Big Ten school with an SEC fan base and a Pac-12 athletics program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is yes.
With the ego of a British soccer club.
Yeah, exactly. No, worse. The ego of like the 1980 Russian hockey team.
Yeah, there you go. That's a perfect example.
There you go.
That's a rough sack to take. Forget it.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, the ego of a Soviet hockey team.
Yeah.
Oh. Actually, it might be bigger. It might be bigger ego than that. I got who has the biggest ego? Oh!
Ooh.
Talk about jump up, and sit down.
Yeah.
That is huge. That makes a field goal really difficult.
Yeah.
Because it went from a chip shot to what, about a 47-yarder? If they don't get another yard right now?
He's made a 26, 32, 28, and 40. So this will be tough.
But now you run into the problem where you have to make this field goal because you've run the time all the way down, and you only have one timeout with a minute 24.
Well, Syracuse has all three, right?
Oh, you're right. I was looking at Virginia only has one.
Yeah.
Syracuse has 3, so they're still good. You're right.
Can they do it 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
In that dome, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But my question is,
Mhm.
besides Texas A&M, how can you be Texas, be a blue blood, have all that money, and I'm not just calling Texas out on that, but Texas paid for players back in the 70s and 80s like every other college.
Back in the always.
Yeah, and I'm not just blaming Texas, Alabama, they all did it. But how do you pay all those players and have all the advantage and have 4 national championships?
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a good run to make it an easier field goal.
Did they get a good run? Okay. Oh, they are okay. Oh, I thought he was further back. Oh yeah, they're gonna get this field goal.
Oh hell, I thought he got sacked on the 30. They only got sacked on the 25. So that
exactly. I thought he was further back too. I thought he was outside, and now they just ran it up to like the 5-yard line. So
yeah, so
that was Virginia. Congratulations, you have pried defeat from the jaws of victory.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has to make it. So, but he should, especially in the dome. It must be easier to kick.
I think when you're favored at home and you're barely winning and you're going to win on a field goal with just moments left, the kicker should have to use his other foot.
I like it.
Huh? Let's make
I like it. That's fair. That's fair.
a chip shot.
Yeah, when it's basically an extra point.
Yeah, make him do it with the other foot.
And it's the second week in a row you've done it.
Yeah.
By the way, I love these Syracuse uniforms. These they're like awesomely retro, but like classy, orange and the blue. Like I think they look great.
All right, knocked it in.
All right, so we got about a minute?
Minute 14 left. No timeout for.
Yeah, no timeout.
Yeah, no timeout.
That's hard.
But do you trust your field goal kicker who's missed 2 today?
Yeah. I don't know. Right now, my other question is: do we trust anyone who wears booty shorts instead of football pants?
Yeah.
Do you remember when they used to go below? Do you remember? I mean, quite literally, the football pants are smaller than the swim team swimsuits now.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening, guys?
I might. Somebody had the idea the other day that if you kick a field goal over 55 yards, it ought to be 4 points instead of 3.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's into it with the hair. All right. Double check. How long do you guys think that Virginia Tech's rebuild will take? As we saw last night.
I think at least not next year, but the year after they should. If this is the right coach, then next year they'll bring in some players, and then the year after with the new players and the players they'll have, I think it'll be 2 more years.
2 more years.
Plus, you got to keep in mind, I mean, it is Virginia Tech. So, I mean,
yeah,
they don't get the greatest recruits to begin with. So, I mean, rebuilding there is going to be a little bit longer.
Thing is, though, Penn State recruits a lot of players from the state of Virginia, and he was a defensive coordinator at Penn State. So if they can get some of those guys.
Well, and that does help. I mean, if you have a history of being able to recruit in that area, that does help a lot.
Yeah, because Penn State takes most of the best players from Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
Because we were saying earlier, Will, that I don't care what school you are, but, name any college. You should be able to, and let's say West or Virginia Tech. You should be able to circle 100 miles around that, and you should be really good at recruiting that area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can't kind of lock down that area or, do really good there, then either you're not a good recruiter or you got the wrong coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with Notre Dame. You guys, I mean, you don't recruit within 100 miles. You recruit nationally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big advantage to Notre Dame where, these small schools, Virginia's not huge like Texas or, but you got to keep the players at home. You can't let them go to Penn State. You can't let them go, to Clemson and places like that.
All right. Ooh. All right. Clock's going to be ticking. You should have just thrown it away. Third and 4. All right. 4th and 4. It would be interesting to see if Syracuse could, because Syracuse was a good team. I know back in the 60s, they won a national championship. I wonder if it would be interesting to see if there's any chance they can get back to that level.
Will, on these calls, I'm going to start calling you Marty from Back to the Future because every time we're on these calls, you're like 3 plays ahead of me.
I know. Will, are you watching on Real TV?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm watching on Apple TV, which is notoriously slow.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm streaming in Mexico, so I'm like a week behind you guys.
Yeah. In pesos too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this score 240 to 190? Oh, it's in pesos. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and I felt bad the other day. I was in Kuz's group, and I decided, I sent him 49 pesos, and he stopped the show. You sent me $49, and I wrote, no, they're pesos. It's only like $2.50. No,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But he took it as, oh my God, this guy sent me $49, and I'm like, no, it's pesos. Read.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, that writes that out.
Is it over?
And there's 24 seconds left, but they can't stop the clock.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun game, though.
Well, and the Air Force game is over. It's 41-14 with 12 minutes to go. So,
who's Air Force beating?
Nevada.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one was
is UTEP Boise State still closed?
I haven't seen the Boise State one. Let me. Boise State, Texas, El Paso.
Oh yeah, Virginia has no timeouts. Well, good for Syracuse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like Syracuse. It's a great school, beautiful campus, a lot of history. I'm glad they're having a great season.
And the nice thing is, if you're Virginia, you can take this as a good win, a good loss. They played well. They had 2 missed field goals and an extra point. They could have won the game. So. Okay,
yeah, they blew it.
Is up 10-3 on Boise State right now, going into the third.
Wow.
Just now starting.
UTEP hit. Oh wow.
Yeah.
What channel is that on? That's on like CBS or something, isn't it?
CBS Sports Network.
Okay. As opposed to what are my other choices here?
It's on YouTube.
Okay, guys. Here's something we're missing. I have choices here. I could watch volleyball games of UC Santa Barbara at UC San Diego, Northridge versus UC Irvine, or Cal State Long Beach versus Cal Poly.
Mm-hmm.
The Long Beach versus Cal Poly would actually be a good one to watch.
Actually, that probably is a really good volleyball game.
Yeah.
Actually, UCSB versus San Diego is probably a good one too.
Hey, Will, let me get your take on something I asked earlier today.
Yeah.
By the way, to anybody who's watching, I love women's volleyball, so I'm like sort of just making fun of like the fact that they're not teams I would watch. I do love watching women's volleyball.
On first downs, And I asked him, is there a chance?
What do you think about this situation, Will?
Yeah.
Opportunities for him to come
Kirk
in.
Ferentz, we have to believe, is probably within 2 or 3 years of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Inshallah.
Do you think Mark Stoops, who graduated from Iowa, would leave Kentucky to go back to Iowa?
I would. I want that to happen, but I don't think it will.
Well, I mean, here's my thought on this. And Iowa has had only 2 coaches since '76, so they got a history of treating coaches good. The pressure at Iowa is a lot less than the pressure at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get more support at Iowa. The fans will love him, and all he has to do is take him to a bowl game, and he'll make about the same amount of money. So I do think that if Mark Stoops leaves Kentucky, that Iowa would be one of the jobs he'd possibly take.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted your opinion. If Ferentz retires in the next 2 to 3 years, do you think Stoops thinks about it?
I feel like he's like doing so well at Kentucky, and it would feel like a sideways step. But it could be like Bear Bryant, like they're not doing well right now, and he could come home.
Yeah, Mama calls, you got to come home, and
Yeah.
I mean, and let's face it, a lot of coaches want to coach for their alma mater, and they want. So, but I got to thinking about that earlier today, and I asked Tony and Rick earlier, what their thoughts were, and because I understand Mark Stoops, he says he's happy at Kentucky, and I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he'll retire there. But if Iowa opened up, I kind of wonder, for the same money, it's less stress. It's an easier conference, really. I mean, if they keep division, the Big Ten West is easier than the SEC East.
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing Georgia. You're not playing Florida, Tennessee,
Yeah. I would like to see Bob come back to coaching as well, but I don't know. He might be done.
I think Bob is enjoying retirement way too much.
Yeah.
I think Bob would come back to coach if he didn't have to recruit.
Mm.
If you could just make him the head coach and hire a whole group of people to recruit for him, that would be one way. I think the only way you'd get him out of retirement.
Maybe Mike could coach too, but Mike's never been. No, he was at Arizona.
Yeah, he coached Arizona for 3 years?
Yeah. From 2004 to 2011. Maybe he could come.
Maybe all 3 of them could just meet up in Iowa when Ferentz retires.
Yeah.
Okay, Boise State's tying it up. They just scored a touchdown.
They did? Okay. I found a stream on YouTube and I shared a screen for it.
Oh, now somehow I got ahead of you. So you're streaming, so you're behind me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that with my parents' cable deal or my cable deal at school. Oh, there's the touchdown. Not great tackling by the Miners.
No.
That was the one thing I told my wife. We can move to Mexico, but I cannot miss a football game.
Yeah.
So if we're going down there, I got to have football. And
this is at the Sun Bowl, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what? Did they just paper over the end zone?
We had a really good game at the Sun Bowl in 2010.
Did you? It's a cool stadium, because it's built into the mountain, these 2 mountains on either side. Arizona State's like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we sold it out when we played Miami in 2010.
I was 7 days away from being born there.
Were you?
My dad was, he went to Vietnam, and when he came back from Vietnam, they stationed him at their, I don't remember the Army base there in El Paso, but He got discharged 1 week before I was born, or I would have been born there.
Oh, that's funny. Just like we're back.
You know, I really like these Heisman commercials they do. I think it's cool to see some of the old Heisman winners.
Yeah. Have you guys ever? You guys probably haven't played in the Sun Bowl, or did you under Dubose or in Shula maybe?
I think we did. I think we did play under DeBose. I think we played there one time. I'll have to do a video on them. I'm gonna do I'm not doing videos on the weekend because of football and that, but Monday I'll do the BCS era, and I'll have a breakdown of all the teams in the. I'm still doing the New Year's Six Bowls, but I'll do them for the BCS era.
Yep.
The you're asking about the Sun Bowl. USC traditionally has not done well in the Sun Bowl. They have a long history of like being like, it's the Sun Bowl, and like 1 year they said that the band. I remember the night before the game, like I think it was a night game though. The band members were like at the border coming back from the bars in Mexico, and they saw some of the football players on their way across the border, and they were like, oh, this game is not going to end well for us tomorrow. And it did not. No.
Well, that's the hard thing. You don't want to bowl that close to Mexico. Everybody's got to go down and check it out.
Yeah, well, they were like, and the USC band is notoriously like wasted, like saxophones. Like they're literally bringing in liquor in the saxophones.
Nice.
As they march, that's like how they march. One of the ways that they march it into the stadium. I probably should have said that on the internet. I'm sure they don't anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore. That was back
anymore. They used to. Anyway, so so when the band is like, yeah, the football players were on their way when we were coming home, that's just not a good sign. What was the other game?
The other one was Air Force and
that one's a blowout though, right?
Yeah, that's 41-10.
Okay.
There's some really good games tomorrow, though.
There are. Yeah. UTEP has the area code on their helmets. That's new. Kind of cool. I'll cut them some slack.
Now, did you see that? And it's probably being done more and more. I don't pay attention, but the Minnesota Wild are now selling jerseys with advertising patches on them.
A lot of them have the NBA. They're adding ads on their jerseys. British soccer style.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. Meanwhile, at USC, we don't even put your name on your jersey. That's one of the things that I really laugh at is there's like all these people like have these debates about like, oh, you know, like blah blah, like player. I'm like, we don't put player names on our jerseys. We just don't.
See, Nick Saban just turned down $20 million this year. They were offering $20 million for Alabama to play one game with white helmets. And Nick Saban says, we haven't done that since the 80s. I'm not going to do it. If it wants to be done, you go to the president. The president tells me it's done, it's done. He said, but I'm not signing off.
I'm not doing it.
He said, I'm about tradition. And when Alabama comes out that tunnel, you'll know because
you'll know it's
the same, you know.
That's what I feel about Notre Dame, and I feel that way about USC. I feel that way about Penn State.
Yeah.
And I know like some people talk smack about it, but I like it.
And I mean, honestly, the school is giving up money because if you have a special jersey, you'll sell more jerseys. But you know, you just don't give up the tradition.
You also lose some of that, like you also lose some of that integrity and oomph that you get from having from not doing that. That's the thing is like,
Yeah.
it's easy. And I know this, I mean, I've done math on this kind of stuff for clients before, but it's like, okay, here's how much you'll lose if you don't do this thing. But it's like part of your whole brand that you've built is because you don't do that thing.
Yeah. Now, the only schools I don't really mind, and I love it, I love Navy and Army during that game. They always come out with special helmets.
Oh, the hand painted like Iwo Jima helmets and like those are cool. Those are cool.
You know?
And Army, I think they're still doing it. They have the names on the front.
Yep.
Like in the patch where it goes on your uniform. Like I think that's awesome.
Or when they come out in the camouflage uniforms, you know, the Navy was wearing their blue camis and the Army was in their, you know, I mean.
Those I have to admit, those are a little ugly for me. I mean, I do like what they do normally, but like, I love the custom helmets. Those are like in the Navy, they had them. It was like, what kind of ship you want to be on.
Yep. They had the
was
ships,
on your
they had
helmet.
the planes. Yeah. I mean.
And they put the unit patches on the sleeves. Like, I mean, when they do that kind of stuff, I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the Shamrock series? Like, would Alabama would never do something like that?
I don't see Alabama doing. I know it won't be done under Saban unless, you know, the problem with Alabama is they're such stuck in tradition, and Notre Dame started the Shamrock how many years ago?
I think 2008 or 2009.
You know, so they've been doing it 13 years now. See, I don't know. I mean, Alabama has changed. You know, we've had white helmets a couple times in the past. I don't know. In a way, I'd kind of like to see a special jersey so I could buy something other. But then, you know, I'm with Tony that, you know, we've had this uniform now for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see it go away. But I've seen some really cool designs for helmets with an elephant on it, or, you know, they've come up with really cool custom helmets that
I guess you could maybe do it for like a Vanderbilt game sometime, like a Vanderbilt homecoming.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like truly meaningless and okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or if you're going to play some really pathetic joke team, like maybe have Cal at home. He's not paying attention to me. Never mind.
Can we
I'm just teasing Will.
Can we play Auburn and have an outhouse on our helmet?
Yeah, exactly. No, better yet, put him on the field.
Yeah.
By the way, how fun was it to watch? And I love Josh Pate, but to watch him and some of the other people just have to eat crow with their just like slobbering of the Auburn knob, only to have Auburn just get whacked.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, did they actually pick Auburn?
They picked Auburn. Yeah, Josh Pate picked Auburn. He's like weird things, you know. And I mean, we talk about places like Syracuse where like, you know, crazy things happen. He's like, oh, Auburn is so hard. I'm like, it's not that hard to play there. I've seen so many teams just go there and whack them around.
Yeah.
And they're not a good
honestly, team. This team, it don't matter where Auburn plays. They're just
this team is bad.
Fire.
Yeah, they are. As is, you know, it's kind of like Colorado. They're in that realm right now.
Yeah.
But the big question: Carl Durrell played for UCLA and coached there. Will they end his career tomorrow?
That would be pretty fitting.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy too. I do feel
great
for him.
guy. He's a neat guy. He's smart. He's awesome. He's really cool. The program is just in a, and I don't think, and I'll tell you, I don't think it's coach level problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think
they haven't
problems.
spent any money on facilities. They don't, you know, and if you don't have facilities today, that's one thing recruits are looking for. If you're not putting facilities up,
and you're not even trying, is the thing.
Yeah, because that's the first thing that Jack Swarbrick did when he went to Notre Dame. He's like, all right, how can I get the football team back to a national level? Well, the facilities weren't updated since the Dan Devine era. We got to update facilities.
Yep.
Like, they were outdated all of Lou Holtz's tenure, which makes it even more impressive that Lou did so well.
Well, I mean same with Pete Carroll. They didn't have a football building.
Yeah.
They had like a suite of offices. Like, they didn't have any of that stuff. And the thing about USC, Miami, Notre Dame in the, you know, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, whatever, is like you can be like, you know what? We don't need that. We don't need that. And that's fine until you stink and all of a sudden you needed that.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it. Alabama just built a $16.5 million nutrition center where all of our football players go to eat. And they have chefs in there that makes what they want. You know, I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's stuff like that that kids care about.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's stuff like that that gives them exactly the like caloric makeup, whatever that the PhD nutritionists want them to have to maximize performance.
Exactly.
All right, guys. I think we should end because Mark's about to go live. So.
Oh, is he?
Okay.
All right. Good
I
to
think
see
it
you.
was a ton of fun.
Thanks to everybody watching. Will's awesome. Like and subscribe to Will and D.
Definitely subscribe. Thanks for having me, Will.
Bye.
Of course. See you guys.
Bye.